All right, let's go ahead and get started. I guess it's round two. We're looking at the Ultimate Doppler radar at 4:01. One thing you'll notice that may have just disappeared is the red coloring over the county of Knox County, because that was a tornado watch that was in effect until 4 p.m. So it does appear to have expired in Knox County promptly, on time. It's 4:01, but we have a severe thunderstorm warning, coincidentally, that lasts until 4:30. So I guess we could say we have strong to severe storms in place, but maybe not the concern or high level of concern for tornadic activity. Again, the concern for tornadoes was going to be isolated in nature anyway. It's just part of the nature of it goes. But if you're joining us for the first time today, good afternoon. We had about an hour's long live stream, just around 1:45 to 2:45 for our friends in Kentucky, and really areas near La Follette, also into places like Sneedville, Tazewell, Claiborne County. North of Maynardville essentially is where most of the activity was, but this has basically flared up here over the last few minutes. You can see the towns on the right. Those are estimated times of arrival. When's it going to get to Plum Creek? 4:20. When's it going to get to Emory Hills? About 4:19. When's it going to get to Hardin Valley? 4:17. You got some time. But you say, I'm in Hardin Valley, I hear it already. Maybe so, but maybe the heart of this storm might not be in Hardin Valley for another 15 minutes. So if your dog's under the desk, your cat's under the bed, that's probably why, because this storm is going to last till 4:30. That's the benefit of having these times on the screen, so they can give you some time to prepare. This storm is obviously moving, not obviously, but if you look at the upper left, moving to the east-northeast at 29 miles per hour. It has a 90% chance of producing some form of hail. I say, could it be severe hail or non-severe? What's the difference? Well, the difference would be if it's severe, 30% chance, it'd be the size of a George Washington quarter. But you might get pea-size hail, 90% chance if you're in the heart of this storm. That's what's projected here from our Barron sweep, and it's suggesting a BTI score of 3.7. So it's on the low end of the spectrum. It's the low end of the scale. We measure that from 0 to 10. Something that's 7, 8, or 9, or 10 would be very high probability of a tornado, but this is a 3.7, so it's on the low end of the scale. So with each passing sweep, we're either going to get more information that's either stronger or weaker than it was before. So it's one of those things, or holding steady, because you could have the third option too. But just to give you a bird's eye view, again, as we're looking at some towns that are going to get pounded, and probably getting pounded now, I want to go ahead and take this off for a moment. I'm on YouTube, on Facebook, live streaming on both locations. I'm also doing it, let me take this particular track off. Let me take the radar off. The heavy rains right now with this severe thunderstorm warning are just north of Farragut, now sliding into Hardin Valley and Solway. It's picking maybe a little bit speed, but I'm going to check in with our friends at the Weather Service. Oak Ridge, you're on the periphery here. You have some rain north of Oak Ridge, very heavy rain in purple and red there, north of Oak Ridge and just south of Dossett, but you're going to continue to find some heavy rains. The worst of it's here just west of Hardin Valley right now. We're talking areas around Solway, Bethel Valley Road. If you're along Gwynn Road, you're in the heart of this storm. It's now sliding into Hardin Valley Road. It's going to be passing the Food City. It'll be passing by areas from Hardin Valley back across Pellissippi, and eventually work its way toward Ball Camp. So if you're mindful, you've got outdoor plans, you're in by the neighborhood pool, it's time to come in. You probably heard the thunder and the lightning. There's quite a bit of that as well. We can see that here. Quite a bit of lightning, about 30 strikes just on this image. Let's check in with the Weather Service. As I'm looking at the Captain Accurate weather app, I can access the text from our friends at the Weather Service, and they are specifically laying out their parameters here. They have noted that this was a severe thunderstorm warning. It was issued earlier at basically 4:04. A minute ago, they just updated us, saying it's for northeastern Loudoun, south central Anderson, southwestern Knox County, and east central Roane counties until 4:30. This was a severe thunderstorm that was located near Farragut. We could probably assess it's north of Farragut. There's Farragut there. And it's south of Oak Ridge. And it's moving to the northeast at 25 miles per hour. So let's do ahead and take the lightning off. That'll declutter the map a bit. If this is moving to the northeast at 25 miles an hour, that should be an easy track, right? Just pull right in here. We'll just continue on this track northeast. It'll take us right here in the direction of Mascot, in the direction of Knoxville proper, and in the direction of Fountain City. So a very heavily populated area. There's no getting around that. This storm means heavy rain. It means hail. In fact, they're talking about quarter-size hail possibility. Hail damage to vehicles is expected, they said. Expect wind damage to roofs, wind damage to siding, wind damage associated with to trees. It's affecting Knoxville, or soon will be. Oak Ridge, Clinton, Lenoir City, Alcoa, Farragut, Bearden, Powell, and Carnes. So again, we're talking about some areas here. Again, we're talking about south central Anderson, northeastern Loudoun, southwestern Knox, east central Roane in effect. So again, even Alcoa, it's interesting that they put Alcoa on there because Alcoa is well out of the box. Maybe that could have been a typo, but that is what it says in the text. But you can clearly see the towns. This should be around 10 Mile at 409, Brentwood at 409, Ebenezer about 410, Hidden Valley at 410. So this is the front line of this storm. And if we go back to the home view, there's not a whole lot going on elsewhere. Is it not ironic, as I ended the last live stream saying that there's going to be some audibles called by the National Weather Service and our friends at the Storm Prediction Center? Because right now, they have, in effect, they have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect at 9 o'clock for Gatlinburg, Sevierville, all of Sevier County in yellow, but nothing for Knox. And somebody with an untrained eye said, well, that's weird. How can we have a severe thunderstorm warning for West Knox County and no severe thunderstorm watch, but Gatlinburg, Cosby, they all have them watched till 9? Like I said, and sometimes they'll get this coordinated. Right now they've got Crossville under a tornado watch till 6 o'clock Central. That's 7 p.m. Eastern. Fentress County is the same. So what we have in place are what may seem like it's disjointed, but please know this was a flare-up storm. What do I mean by that? Just in the last few minutes, this thing wasn't even there. Let's go back, just go back 30 minutes, maybe an hour. Hour would be really telling because there wasn't much going on an hour ago, right? We had nothing going on, and then all of a sudden that storm showed up just north of Loudoun, south of Harriman. It just flared up, and it caused the National Weather Service in Morristown to issue a severe thunderstorm warning. And that severe thunderstorm warning is capable of producing 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. And so that storm that we've been tracking, and notice the coloring, all that burgundy, that red area that covered Anderson, covered Campbell, that tornado watch has gone bye-bye. It's not in place. Could they issue a new one tonight? Yes. Because I've said time and time again, and my premium members heard this is one round that we just came from. This is round 2 maybe. This could be argued round 2 is just starting. Because there's another line northwest of Jamestown, near Cookeville, back to the west. That could be round 2. Round 3 comes in later tonight. So it's going to come in stages. It answers the question, is Sunday going to be a washout? Well, if you've had hours upon hours of dry time, I'd say no, it hasn't been a washout. It could be a washout now if you're in Hardin Valley, sure. It's totally changed the landscape to Hardin Valley because we're dealing with a severe thunderstorm warning. If you're on the call, let me know. I'll stop the loop because it's a little loopy. But we're going to zoom in this track and maybe continue watching some of these towns. Again, affecting now Carnes. It's going to be affecting now Amherst. A little bit of heavy rain now in Powell. And Solway getting some heavy rain. If we're not seeing some hail, we probably will soon. Let me go back and take a look at some of the hail potentially. The hail tracker. Yeah, there's a hail tracker. See if there's been this kind of just flared up with some hail over the last 30 minutes or so. That's an hour, but we'll go 30 minutes. There's a bit of hint there of some hail potentially coming into play. But even if you don't get hail, you'll still get the possible strong winds. We could take a look at the velocity here. Check the eyedropper here. You got some bright green areas, 44, maybe a wind gust of 54. 54 miles per hour west of Hardin Valley. Carnes around 29. Maybe not that strong in Bearden, 28 north of Farragut, 37. So again, these winds are going to kick up and may equal a 60-mile-an-hour gust before it's done. And if it takes out power, don't be surprised. We've seen quite a few power outages. Over 7,000 I saw last I checked in Somerset, Kentucky. That's in Pulaski County from some of the storms from today. So a lot of rain, a lot of wind in some cases, but not everywhere. But these are the towns that are being affected right now. And we're keeping a watchful eye on it. It's still moving about 26 miles an hour. I got Hardin Valley really being affected now, but the new towns, maybe Ball Camp, Valley View Heights at 425, maybe Valley View at 426, Brentwood at 427. So some of the towns on the right may be indicative of what's going to be affected coming up next. If you're on the call, I just want to say good afternoon to you. I would say happy Sunday, but this is not the best reason to be doing a live stream. Usually I want to say it's all sunshine and lollipops, but it's not. it's downpours and hail and wind and rain and all the rest. If you're on the call, leave me a message. I'll do my best. I need to hit refresh. All these comments are from round one. I haven't had a chance to update this computer or hit the refresh button. But if you're on the call, leave me a comment. I'm also on YouTube. I'll be checking that. But as we go back to the radar, you can see the downpours are affecting areas around Hardin Valley right now. Soon to affect Ball Camp if it's not there already. Some of the notes that are coming in from you, I see now on my screen. It shows Kimberly Case. It says, "Howdy, Captain. Just got significantly darker in Bearden, close to Marble City," she says. Distant thunder too. Kimberly, thank you for that update. That means a lot because I know there are some of you that are like, I was just enjoying a nice day at the pool, or I was just kicking back on the porch. Bernadette, got some notes here. Bernadette Urbano Baker says, thank you. You're more than welcome. Again, I'm just the messenger, just letting you know that there's a storm coming, and we have one until 4:30. That's about a little more than 15 minutes from now. Jody Green Peters says, my son is supposed to have a pool party at 6:30 to 8:30 in Jefferson City. Will that be rained out? Well, that's like a premium question there, Jody. I will say there are strong to severe storms in the forecast now through Memorial Day. And there will be opportunities where you get a storm like this. But if it lasts, 30 minutes? And then it's gone, then it's back to the pool. I guess it would be one of those things where I would urge you to be flexible. Have an adaptive plan that you can get inside into a sturdy structure till these storms pass, but they will come and go. Zach Reagan says, Maynardville getting some thunder and light rain. Christine Davis says, will McMinn County see any storms? I think we're all going to get some storms. I think the main event's around 2 in the morning, folks. 2 in the morning. Well, you mean this? This isn't the main event? No, this is round 2. There's another event. And we could say there's a round 3 and round 4 going into Monday, Memorial Day. So this is not going to be out of here and gone and done with. Our dew points at 3 o'clock were 71 in Knoxville. Now that may not sound like much to you. If I said it was a 100-degree temperature, you say, wow, 100 degrees, that's hot. If I say a 70-degree dew point, 71, that's humid. And that's rocket fuel, not only being sticky, but that's the rocket fuel for these storms to continue to grow and breathe and continue to grow. Certainly a 71-degree dew point in Knoxville, not achieved all the time in May, but when it does, it should catch your attention. Michael May says, thank you for the live feed. You're the only one doing live coverage. You're the number one. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you. Gene Fritz says, got my storm space ready. Absolutely. We were really hitting that idea home during the first live stream that I did from 1:45 to 2 p.m., 2:45 today. And why did I cut in for that? Because we had several tornado warnings. We had several tornadoes. We had Corbin, we had Barberville, we had Middlesboro, we had Harlan County. We even had Harrogate under a tornado warning between 1:45 and 2:45, roughly that time frame. And so I cut in because I thought that was important. It wasn't affecting us, but I said, Knox County, you'll get your turn. Oh, Quinky Dinky, now's your turn, Hardin Valley. Now's your turn. So as we look at these pictures, these are the events that are happening now. I'm going to go ahead and take the track off because it's a little distracting. But the areas that are getting hit hard now with this storm would be Karnes. We can fairly decently say that it's affecting areas around Brentwood, Cedar Bluff, soon to be affecting more in the way of Powell coming up here. Solway getting some heavy rain, and I will say it's heavy because if we were to be with the accumulation here in the last 6 hours, there's probably been some heavier rains in the lighter green areas. How much are we talking about? Maybe a quick half inch. No, 3/4. In the last few minutes, some areas west of Hardin Valley, north of Woodlawn, have now had about 3/4 inch of rain. And it's still coming down. It's coming down in buckets. So that will clear a neighborhood pool in a hurry. If you are out in the water, out by the pool, clearly if you're getting the lightning alerts and you're a grandmom, grandpop, or papaw, mamaw, or mom or dad, just get the kids out of the pool if you're in the path of this storm because it's slated to last until 4:30. Now you can clearly see, as we're going to do our own track here, go ahead and take that part of it off. Take our own track here, as the National Weather Service believes that this was moving east at 25 miles per hour, right? So if you look at this track, this is moving east at 25. If we continue on this this particular trajectory, like this, we'll move at 25 miles. We're going to get some new towns here, 25. That would put a lot more into the crosshairs. Corrigan, Mascot, Riverdale, eventually Fountain City, Knoxville proper. We're talking downtown Knoxville in a short period of time. Powell is being affected by it now. Third Creek, 417, should be around Westminster Ridge. Do you know where that is? Could be a neighborhood, could be a subdivision, could be a community. 417. Cherrybrook, 417. Forest Hills, 418. As we'll slide the map over here like this. But we're watching with great interest what's happening over Karnes and Solway, Cedar Bluff. This is the hot spot, and we know it's moving to the east around northeast, about 25 miles per hour. Got some other notes. I am on YouTube as well. If you're on YouTube, give me a shout out. Some of you may prefer watching this on the Fire Stick. It's easier to see sometimes, right? Sometimes the cities look very small when you're trying to squint. You need bifocals sometimes to see it. On your phone, you're like, I can't see that. So just go ahead and put it on the Fire Stick. If you're on the call, Wanda Poe says the storms look bad. Yes, they do, Wanda. But thankfully, because I know you're in Newport, this is not affecting you like it is, say, Hardin Valley or Karnes. Karnes is certainly feeling the brunt of this storm right now. Hope it calms down before she gets to her. She's concerned about Newport. If you are concerned about a town, let me know. I see Vicky Sue Russell says, thank you very much. And Zach Reagan, why does the wind go towards, let's see, Gene says I got the storm space ready, went above me. Thank you, Gene. Zach Reagan wanting to know why does the wind go towards the storm. Again, this is coming in from a warm front and eventually tonight a cold front. So a lot of the dynamics on the wind, as we look at the track of this storm is moving to the northeast about 25 miles per hour. And again, it's now 4:17, so we have, what, about 13 more minutes until this expires. But if this storm holds together, and some storms don't, I'm not going to mislead you, say I know for sure, because I don't, but we're going to look at the storm future radar here in a moment. But if the storm that's in Karnes and now beginning to fill into Fountain City's not under the warned area, we would consider this a strong storm in Fountain City, but a severe storm around Karnes. If it does continue on its path, I could expect, and maybe you could too, that places like Corrigan, Mascot, and downtown Knoxville could be added into a new warning. But that has not been issued yet. I can only tell you what's been issued now, and that's the one that's over Karnes. Will I say the worst is behind Hardin Valley? Yes. Is the worst over for Farragut with this storm? Yes. But a brand new box just now appeared as I take off my telestrator, and you can see that they've now put a whole new set of towns and a whole new box for Rutledge, for Morristown, really north of Jeff City, but definitely Corrigan, Maynardville for this storm. Let's go ahead and track this. This is going to go until how long? 5 o'clock. Oh, man. I was just fill in the blank. This is my Sunday. I understand. But if you don't understand, this is my day off. I get it. Believe me, I get it. But these are what we're dealing with. We've got storms. And this might be classic round 2. Round 2, ding, 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 is on the board. But there will be another round around 2 in the morning on your Memorial Day, and more even on Memorial Day itself. So if you like this pattern, I don't know who does, some do. If you like hot and sticky weather, humid weather, we could definitely check this. Coming up, I'm going to look at dew points here in a moment. But I am looking at the Captain Accurate Weather app, which you can, by the way, download. It's free. It's available at the App Store and Google Play. All you need to do is search the 2 words, Captain Accurate. It will come up. And just select it. It does come with Pete Michaels Traffic, the best traffic reporter in town. But let me read to you what is now on my phone via the Captain Accurate Weather app. As of 4:18, that was 1 minute ago, the National Weather Service in Morristown has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Claiborne County. Check. Western Hawkins County. Well, yeah, I guess real far western. Northeastern Anderson. Northeastern Knox. Southwestern Hancock. Northwestern Jefferson County. Union County. Granger County, and central Hamlin County until 5 o'clock. This severe thunderstorm was located near Plainview, 7 miles southwest of Maynardville, moving northeast at 45. And the weather hazard, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, potentially, and quarter-size hail, potentially. So if this storm is 7 miles southwest of Maynardville, so let's pull out our measurement tool. You got one of those? Oh, I got one of those too. We can check out the measurement tool and do about 7 miles southwest of Maynardville. That would put it right about here, right? It's probably already moved now toward Corrigan, but about 7 miles. So the one they're most interested in is the one that's over Corrigan. This is the one they're talking about, and it's about to approach Luttrell. But this is moving at 40. It's moving to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. So I may have to do a little expansion of the view here, but bear with me. We'll go ahead and do a track so that you have some towns associated with this particular storm. This one here, we'll keep it inside their box. If this is going 45 miles per hour, these are the new towns That would include Bean Station. This would include Rutledge. This would include so many other towns that have not had any activity thus far. Maybe Treadway. Maybe Crosby. I didn't say Cosby. Crosby. Rutledge. Maynardville. It should be around Chesney. Oh, and I know who that's named after. Chesney, 425. Rose Hill. Richland, about 426. Chestnut Grove, 426. And maybe around Acuff, 429. Powder Springs, 429. Again, these are estimated times with the assumption that it's continuing on to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. Got some other comments. Marilyn Bell have a plan suggestion, and she put that in all caps. I absolutely agree. Nothing's worse. Nothing creates more anxiety and stress than when you're under a warning of any kind, whether it be a severe thunderstorm warning or maybe it's a tornado warning. Nothing's worse than when you have to figure out in mere moments, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then suddenly you're like your adrenaline runs up high. If you have a plan, you simply go to that interior room of your house, if it calls for that, or certainly in this case, get away from windows because we got potentially 60-mile-an-hour winds. But we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that runs until 4:30 and 5 for Knox County. The one on the screen is the one that goes till 5. But Knoxville proper, I mean the city, is not, let me be clear, the city is not under a warning. So that doesn't make any sense. It does when you look at the two boxes. There's Vestal, there's Knoxville, there's South Knoxville. You are not downtown Knoxville, Gay Street, Market Square, and Neyland Stadium, not under the warning. The two areas that we're looking at in Knox County are two distinct boxes. One runs until 4:30, and that's the one that's now departing from Karns. And then the new one that's around Corriton and maybe to some extent north of Fountain City, that's also moving northeast around 45 miles per hour. So we have two distinct boxes. You look at the home view, and this is the only event going on in town. Yes, we have torrential rain in spots in Scott County, Tennessee, not far from Oneida. We have some of those storms that are now going to be moving into Campbell County. How do I know? Because look at the last 30 minutes, right? Where are these? In fact, let's just keep it simple. Let's go 15 minutes so that it's not confusing. What you're seeing is a 15-minute loop. These are the storms in motion over the last 15 minutes. And you can clearly see there's storms now headed toward Jellicoe, headed up toward Barberville, who earlier today was under a tornado warning. Now they're getting set round 2. Barberville, this is round 2 for you. There will be another round later tonight around 2 in the morning, if not sooner for you, because it will be coming from the north and west. The cold front still has yet to pass, and I mentioned the dew points are crazy and high. And if I'm not mistaken, they were around 71 at 3. It's now 4 o'clock, 4:24. Let me change gears. Let me take a look at the future radar, right? Because I know some of you are like, where's it going to go? It's all fine and good to tell me what's going on now. You got one that lasts till 4:30, you got another one that lasts till 5. But show me where it's going to be 120 minutes from now. Show me where it's going to be 2 hours from now. And I can do that using the tool that's on the free Captain Accurate weather app, the Future Radar. This is a feature that can be accessed by just a click of the button. It's the happy cloud at the bottom. You just hit the button, it goes doo-doo-doo, it moves along, and this shows you where it's going to be 2 hours from now. Timing might be off a few minutes, that's okay, but it does a really good job of showing where those discrete cells are located. Looks like a pretty good squall line forming between Jamestown, Jellicoe, and into Harlan County by 6:15, 6:30. But there's that storm that's in around Karns right now that will be working its way toward Morristown. The one that's in the Karns area, leaving and moving around Fountain City, look where it goes. Before 6:30, we'll say 6:15, 6:25, I'm going to stop it. Stop. Oops, let's take it to the end there. Boom. 6:25, right? So what's going to happen most likely is if you're in Morristown, you go, man, it's coming down in buckets in Morristown. It isn't right now, but it will within the next 2 hours. And then you've got a very distinct line. The trend is to take a lot of this rain up here in the direction and heading northeast. So it's going to move up just north of La Follette. So you've got two distinct, and it won't be gone out of Knoxville. There'll still be some residual showers, maybe of less intensity, but that may be what the future radar holds. We'll have to wait and see. But I do want to show you that that's headed our way. Jeff Atkins says, stay safe. Lee says, Karns, dark and thundery. Absolutely. Sherry Johnson's watching. Thank you, Sherry. Back to the radar. In fact, I'd like, while we're here, we just look at power outages, because it was amazing to me. So we clear this off and turn off the warnings for a second because it gets a little cluttered.
But these are all the areas that are dealing with power outages. Well, you say, well, that's not where I live. Yeah, well, your neighbors are having a harder time. So have some compassion. Have some hope that, while you may have power, it's a good time to charge your battery, charge your phone. There's 100 folks without power in Hawkins County, 100 around Hancock County. Granger County's got 800 people without power right now. Somerset tops the list in Pulaski County at 8,000. 8,000 people. Are you kidding me? Corbin, London, they had a tornado warning scare, about 1,500 people without power, 3,000. Down toward Knox County, Whitley County, 2,000, 2,500. I mean, thousands of people are without power. No wonder you're cutting in. Yeah, some people, but I live in Knoxville, so it doesn't affect me, so it doesn't matter. It didn't happen. It's like the tree that falls in the forest. No, that's not the way to think of it. I know that weather's consumed that way, but that's not the approach I approach. I know that if you're affected by this, this has really put a damper on your holiday weekend. And think about that. Thousands of people at this very moment are without power, and they have maybe had to clear the pool. They've had to do their thing. I just want you to know that if they had a plan, they did the right thing. Again, you can't be in an RV when you got some of these winds coming into play. Like we had tornado concerns, and we still have isolated tornado concerns going into this evening. We saw Fentress and Cumberland. Fentress, Cumberland, all under a tornado watch till 6 p.m. Central. That is still in the offering, right? Because we can see that here as we take off, put back the radar. You can see that there's a tornado watch in effect for Cumberland County till 6, and then we have one in Fentress till 6 o'clock Central Time. But this is the way things are likely to evolve. We just looked at the future radar. We looked at the power outages. This is just another stage of it, but it is all drifting in the direction of Morristown. So if you're in Hamlin County, you're anywhere near Panther Creek State Park having a good time, there's going to be reasons for you to get out of the water, out of the boat, have a plan. I just want to keep you safe because lightning is also part of this equation. You can see just on this home view, we have over 3,800 lightning strikes from this image alone. And that's a lot of lightning. That'll disrupt a party pretty quickly. I still have this disjointed nature of why are they under a severe thunderstorm watch, but the warning areas are not. I think there's just a disconnect. Again, these watches, often initiated from the Storm Prediction Center, and then your local office is issuing these warnings that are going into town right now. So just bear with it. Everybody should be on guard. There are, in fact, strong to severe storms in the forecast between now and tomorrow. The timing might be immaterial as far as this goes till 9, this goes till 6 p.m. Central. Just know that the warning areas will likely have their biggest impact. And now, as I continue to ramble on here, I see that the severe thunderstorm warning has now included the city of Knoxville, because we now have another warning that wasn't there before looking at the power outages. This one runs till 5:15 for Knoxville proper. Let's get the latest update from the Weather Service as I'm looking now at the latest information that's coming into view. The new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued at 4:24, that was 5 minutes ago, includes Knox County proper, South Central Anderson, Southeastern Union, Northwestern Jefferson, North Central Sevier, and Southwestern Granger till 5:15. This storm was located 8 miles south of Clinton. 8 miles south of Clinton is the call here. So if we look where Clinton is, there's Clinton, and I think we could pull out the measuring tool and we could say, okay, if we were going to go 8 miles south of Clinton, it would put us in this area. Probably it's more like over here now. It's more like southeast of Clinton, 8 miles. So we can clearly see where this storm is. It's this one that was in Carnes. It's now centered over Powell, probably producing some hail at this particular moment. And I suspect that that's the case. If you're getting hail, yep, we've got potential, possible here, possible there. So we've got some hail over Powell. It's affecting perhaps Ridgedale, and it's going to affect most likely some areas toward Inskip and Lonsdale here in a few moments. So it's kind of a messy map. I won't say it's clear cut, but there are 3, maybe now 2 distinct boxes. One that was to last till 4:30. Now that it's 4:30, that's gone. So we have one that lasts till 5:30 and 5:15. 5 o'clock, 5:15. Do I have this right? 5:15 and 5 o'clock. I mean, these boxes have been just growing over the last few minutes. And so the National Weather Service, again, continues on the path that these winds are probably also part of the story. We can check that real quick and see where these winds may be at their peak. We've got 38 here, 28, maybe nothing that would write home too, but we're getting a lot of heavy rain associated with it. So again, the concern is that we could have some damage to roofs, we could have damage to trees, we could continue to see more power coming off the board. So some of these run till 5, this runs till 5:15. It's a little disjointed, I'll grant you that, but it is all working its way to the east. They say now northeast at 45. If we do a little track here over the last 15 minutes, see two distinct lines. The one that's around Karnes and now Powell. It's now about to hit Fountain City, and it's really affecting downtown Knoxville. So let's go in a little deeper here. This is the one that lasts until 5:15. It's coming down in buckets around Powell and Cherokee Ridge, down 275 toward Lonsdale, Mechanicsville, and Knoxville. Some very heavy rain along Gay Street, Market Square right now. Good time to be away from windows. Neyland Stadium, north of you, getting heavy rain. West Haven. But where we see some of these black and even purple echoes would suggest potential hail and torrential rain. It's also affecting Dante, Black Oak, Lakewood, Cherokee Ridge, Pleasant Hills, and Merchant Drive. Norwood, Inskip, about to get hammered with some very heavy rain. Kind of curious if you're getting a similar outcome. Carrie Aguilar says winds have started blowing some in Morristown. Diane Ladyhawk says East Maryville here, starting to hear thunder and alerts are going crazy along with her NOAA Weather Radio. Thank you, Diane, for that update. Stephen Snyder sending me some stars. You're very kind, sir. He's one of my premium members. You're very thoughtful. Kenneth and Caroline Humphrey says Fincastle at 4:20, it was 74 degrees. Got thunder, lightning moving west to east, and barometric pressure 29.88 inches. Thank you very much for that note, Kenneth. Thank you for that. I'm also on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, let me a note. Wanda Post says she's watching from Newport. So some of you have great interest in maybe areas around Merchant Drive. Maybe you have great interest in Fountain City or Inskip, anywhere around Powell. Powell is getting hammered with heavy rain right now, and also potentially some hail that's now crossing I-75. Think about it. If you're a driver, if you're moving north or south on I-75 and you didn't really pay attention to the weather forecast, you're like, man, I didn't know it was going to be that bad. Yeah, I would say it's pretty tough right now. We got a severe thunderstorm warning affecting the city. It's affecting Lonsdale, Mechanicsville, and Knoxville proper. But clearly, there's a sharp cutoff. Karnes, even though Karnes is technically still under a severe thunderstorm warning, I would say the worst is over for you, Karnes. Just as at Hardin Valley, same thing. Maybe the sun's back out. Solway, sun's back out maybe, right? Didn't take long to get in and to get out, but once it's there, Cedar Bluff, you're okay at the moment. Looks like it's passing to the north of Bearden. So again, if you just back 15 minutes, you can see it did affect Bearden, but now things have improved. So this too shall pass. Even though the warning runs till 5:15, the worst of it has moved through Karnes, Hardin Valley, and Bearden. But it is affecting and hammering the city of Knoxville. And really the purple areas, again, would be more indicative of potential some hail. I can take another look at that a little more closely. I got hail here. Yeah, there's some hail that might be a little bit larger in size possible here. But if we go back to some other threat, yeah, 1-inch hail. Maybe the size of a George Washington quarter around Powell. Not far from, again, you're looking at Amherst, Hidden Hills, moving into Lonsdale. You could be on the lookout for some hail the size of a George Washington quarter. Might not be that large, but that's the concern. They're talking about 60-mile-an-hour winds, and we got a little dark area. That would be 2 inches. So that'd be crazy. Again, sometimes the radar can over-exaggerate. That's why it's always helpful to rely on your weather spotters. So who are those? That's you. If you live in Powell and you have 2-inch hail, that'd be very large hail. That'd be larger than a ping pong ball. 1.5 inches is a ping pong ball. 2 inches might be closer to a golf ball. But even if it's half that size between Powell and Cherokee Ridge, wouldn't you want to know about it? Yes, I would. And it looks like it's no picnic around Blaine. I'm over here looking at Blaine. There's some severe threats here as well. Blaine might be dealing with some very large hail as well. About 1.5 inches is what the computer would suggest, what the radar would suggest. 1.5 inches is the size of a ping pong ball. So some very large hail stretching now into Maynardville. Union County potentially getting some hail, maybe the size 1/2 inch. That's 1/2 inch there. So please be on guard that hail is also part of this equation. What makes me want to check out this other thing here is this. As we're looking at Memorial Day tomorrow, I want to look at the temperatures in dew point. Temperature right now, 83 degrees. But look how it's rain cooled in Rockwood at 79. Oak Ridge, 76. And 78 in Crossville. You look at the dew points, They've been up to around 72 in Rockwood, 72 Madisonville. That's rocket fuel for these storms to continue. And a 75 estimated dew point in Maryville? Are you kidding me? Welcome to the swamp. Welcome to the swamp. It's like the Gulf of Mexico, and that air mass has now found home in East Tennessee today. Winds may not be all that strong outside of the storms, but inside the storms, they're crazy. They're crazy strong. No doubt about that. And temperatures around the state clearly vary from maybe 68 Nashville, thanks to the rain, Bowling Green 68, but it's 83 Knoxville. So that just gives you some a sense of what's happening in terms of the storminess. What's interesting to see how these clouds may have thickened up. Some of the sun would have disappeared in spots, but then the sun tries to come back out. This is a 6-hour loop. Maybe the sun's out in Newport right now, where it could be very, very gray and cloudy right now over Crossville. Look at the clock here. We'll stop here about 4:35. So it's sunny in Newport, cloudy in Crossville. Bigger picture shows, again, a lot of this energy that's associated with these storms are going to continue to grow. These clouds will continue to grow vertically, and in some cases we're going to continue to see very, very large large hail, or if not downpours. When it got on the subject of hail, a 1.5 inch would be around ping pong ball. That's on the top right of this image. 2 inches would be larger than a golf ball. So even if that verified, even remotely close to it, it would be enough to cause some serious damage to your car or vehicle. Checking in with you if you've got some comments. Changing Times gives me thumbs up here. It looks like on YouTube. So I got a new person on YouTube. Glad to have you here. On Facebook, we go back. Candy says it's thundering now in Seymour. Yeah, it's kind of like the... It's kind of sad, but yeah, as we look at this situation, Candy, this situation in Seymour may be going downhill like many areas in town in Knoxville, because we have the potential for some hail. We have severe thunderstorm warnings that last until 5:15, 5 o'clock. It's odd that they would have that till 5. That will have to be adjusted. And a brand new one, it looks like, down toward Etowah, right? We've got some areas down toward Cherokee, or actually Polk County, McMinn County, under severe thunderstorm warning till 5:15 as well. Let's take a look at the radar. Go back away from the hail expectations, but we'll change gears and focus more on the radar itself. Go back to the home view and look at the warning that's now affecting areas in McMinn County. This lasts till 5:15. Let me get the update on that, because some of you might be watching us from that area and want to know, is it still moving at the same pace? This is also moving to the northeast. It would appear northeast at 25 miles per hour, and it was located over Benton. So this is basically southeastern McMinn and southwestern Monroe County until 5:15. This storm, there may be a storm track on it. There was. This puts some of the towns there in McMinn County. This is moving at 29 miles an hour. This would include Arlington at 4:43. Actually, I'm going to pick the wrong one here. Here it is. McFarland, about 5 o'clock. And now I see a brand new severe thunderstorm watch. They finally caught up. Give them time. It's not easy juggling all this, but they do have a new severe thunderstorm watch for all of Knox County until what time? 9 o'clock at night. So now that matches what was in the Gatlinburg area at Sevier County till 9 o'clock. Everybody's now a yellow color, which would suggest a severe thunderstorm watch till 9. But again, I will just say this, there will be more downpours around 2 in the morning. So this is going to come and go. There'll be new ones, and they'll have to call a new audible as needed. But you can see here, the one that's McMinn County may affect Bullet Creek at 4:59. Maybe in Holly Springs at 5:02, and Ironsburg at 5:02. This storm is moving at 33 miles per hour. Its BTI score is up to a 4.1. So again, something you got to watch. Even if it's not a tornado, it's on the lower end of the scale. Again, 0 to 10 is how the BTI, Barron Tornado Index, is measured. But if it's something, each progressive sweep could show it's either getting stronger, getting weaker, maybe holding the same. But these are the towns that are likely to be affected by the one down toward McMinn County. We're going to go ahead and take this off and go back to the main event for us, which appears to be right through the heart of Knox County. Fountain City getting hammered. We've got one that lasts till 5:15. That's, if I got this right, 5:15? Yeah, and it's only 4:40. Where did the time go? Corrigan, Maynardville, Fountain City, all this heading in the direction to the north and east. We'll go ahead and put a time lapse on this over the last 30 minutes. I think 30 minutes is pretty reasonable. You can see how this is now headed toward Rutledge. If you're in Jefferson City, you're probably getting more thunder and lightning in the distance. Maybe you're hearing claps of thunder now. but this is the severe thunderstorm warning that's rolling through the city at this time. I'm not going to ignore, well, look at that, brand new tornado warning. You say, what tornado warning? It just appeared, just now appeared. And they did not have a tornado watch. What's going on? Because they're not clairvoyant. They don't always know, but they do have concern that there's a tornado warning now for the Kingston area, Roane County. This is time, it is time, if you're in Roane County, if you're in Kingston, to get into your safe space, get into a basement or an interior room. This is a tornado warning that's going to affect Kingston. It's affecting areas on the east side of Rockwood and well south of Harriman right now. But there's a new tornado warning, which I'm going to give you the details here, but this is a storm that is the strongest on the map, right? We have severe thunderstorm warnings. We've already covered that in yellow, but the red one is in fact a new tornado warning. So anyone that within the sound of my voice, I'm thinking Darcy, if you are one of my premium members in the Kingston, or Hallie Gibson, make sure that you get into your basement or safe space until this passes. This is a tornado warning till 5:30. Last check, this was related to, associated with, a severe thunderstorm that's capable of producing a tornado. So what you're saying is you don't have full intel that it is a tornado. No, but the radar would indicate that there could be one forming right now. And it's moving east at 15. So this is the track. We're going to give you that track. We'll look at the velocity. We'll look at the storm relative velocity. You can see this is the track. It's moving to the east at 15 miles per hour. So if it's on the surface, if it's on the ground, these are the towns that could be adversely affected. That would include Lakeshore at 445, High Point 446, Holiday Shores 447, and Sugar Grove perhaps as early as 453. Again, you will notice there are some subdivisions listed here. We've already mentioned Rockwood and Kingston. They mentioned the towns that could be affected would be Rockwood and Midtown by 445, and Kingston about 5 o'clock. So this is the biggest concern on the map. That's where my focal point is going to be for the next minute or two. Clearly, I'm not going to ignore that we have severe thunderstorm warnings moving around Fountain City, Corrigan, and headed in the direction of Rutledge. But please note that this is the only tornado warning that I see on the map at this particular time. So the only warning that's now of a tornadic nature, and you'll notice that there's a tornado watch. This will drive people nuts. How come there's a tornado watch for Cumberland County, but there wasn't one for Roane County, and they're the ones under the warning? It's just, it's not an exact science, and I know there's sometimes it feels like there's a disconnect, but please know that the conditions with those high dew points, we just looked at how high those were, these storms, it doesn't take much to spark some severe weather and torrential rain. The heavy rains are also part of this story. Let me go back to the winds. I want to see two things here. Check maybe some swaths of shear here. Let's take a look at the rotation detector. Where might this be? Let's look right in here. We have potentially some strong areas in here that might suggest there's enough shear where the Weather Service thinks maybe a tornado could be forming. It would be around Harbin. We mentioned the towns that this could soon affect. Midtown is here, right? Midtown is on the middle side of this box. There's Rockwood. And of course, there's Kingston, Harriman to the top. But if that were something to watch, that could be something the Weather Service may be looking at. We're also looking at this rotation tracker over the last 15 minutes. What did they see that says, you know what, maybe we should issue a warning here? But they have now issued a tornado warning for central Roane County until 5:30. And this was just simply, as worded, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. They do mention mobile homes in this type of environment will be damaged or destroyed. If you're in an RV, this is the time to get out of the RV and go to a place ASAP to a substantial structure. It's just not safe when you have a storm like this moving through town. The velocity showing crazy bright here, right? When you see that kind of signature, 72, 75, 68. So the winds alone, whether they are tornadic or not, will rip off some damage to roofs. That kind of 70, 75 mile an hour wind is going to do a lot of damage. At the very least, it'll take down trees and could take out your power. So it's very, very important that you make the necessary precautions. Jackie says larger hail in Fountain City. I would imagine. Hallie Gibson, thank you for saying thank you, because I'm glad you got that note. She's in the Kingston area. Note that this storm looks like it's really around Harbin right now. The swath may show weak at times, but we clearly see the winds are crazy strong. where there could be some of this momentum transfer at the surface, where you're getting some very nasty winds approaching Circle M. Midtown might have winds around 25, but it could be 66 or 55. There's 75. Just south of Harbin, this is why it's so important that you need, and I'm speaking to anybody within the distance of Rockwood, Midtown, or Kingston, time to be in the safe space. You can keep updates on the phone, but I don't want you to be near windows. I want to keep you safe because it's just not worth going outside to grab a picture for social media. The temptation's there, but it's not worth putting you in jeopardy or your family in jeopardy. Just looking at this as a general whole. Now, let's look at the storm relative. So you have the green here, right? This is going toward the radar in Morristown because that's where our radar sweep is, right? And then you have the red that's going away from Morristown. And so if you think about this like a little low, what happens? Winds rotate counterclockwise around a low. So this is why the Weather Service believes that there is a possible or a tornado that could be a severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado. And like I said, I'm not here to mince words with you. I just want you to be safe. And this one that's south of Dodson and not far from Circle M, post Oak Farms, this could be where the worst of this storm is. You got to wait for it to pass. And if you're just joining us, we have a tornado warning till 5:30 for central Roane County. This is what, number 3 or 4 or 5. There's been a half a dozen counties that have been under tornado warnings from southeast Kentucky, because we had Corbin, we had Barberville, we had Harriet under a tornado warning a couple of hours ago, and now we have Roane County. You can't exactly say Roane County is anywhere near Laurel County or Knox County, Kentucky, but that's what they have in common today. So when you look at the velocity here, what that green color is suggesting, right, when they start to, the little couplet, when they start coming together, you got the green that's going toward the radar in Morristown, and you've got, let me turn this off here, you got this going toward the radar, and this is suggested going away. So you can imply there's a little low, possibly similar to flying debris, as they said. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. It's so important. If you're in Midtown, you're in Circle M, you're in Stowe Station, you're in Kingston, please, please let this pass. Just, even if it's not a tornado, it's going to rip some things off where they don't belong to be off, like shingles or trash cans or patio furniture or whatever else. We just saw potentially over 75-mile-an-hour gusts. And they're saying that this could be damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will likely occur. And they said that it will be around Kingston by 5 o'clock. So you've got 12 minutes maybe for Kingston, if not sooner, if this is actually transpiring. And I just want you to be prepared. The amount of rainfall that's associated with this has been sizable, maybe back to the west because it's still trying to catch up. Maybe that's even not so much the rain, half inch, maybe Rockwood now over a half inch. But this is all part of the equation. We looked at hail. Rainfall rates might be very high. Look at the rainfall rate. Because remember how we like to say it comes down like cats and dogs? Well, maybe not everybody says that, but that's the old expression. It's coming down in buckets. It's a gully washer. Well, what does that mean? That means it could be coming down at the rate of 7 inches an hour. You're like, no way. I'm not saying they're getting 7 inches. I'm not even saying they'll get half of that. But it's not going to be sitting put or staying put for an hour's time. This is moving pretty quickly. But the rainfall rates are very, very intense in the Kingston area under this tornado warning. We've already looked at multiple aspects of this storm. We've looked at the velocity. Go back to that. Not every day you're going to see gusts around Midtown, 75 miles an hour, but that's what's projected south of Midtown, north of Circle M, and that's headed toward Kingston. So Hallie Gibson, again, want to call her out, as I'm sure she's probably long by now. She's under a safe spot while this storm passes, because this could do a lot of damage, could easily take out your power. You may lose electricity here in the next few minutes. Hallie is reporting high winds in Kingston. Hallie, thank you for that update. Hello from Harriman, says Leanne Reynolds. Stay safe. This is like the worst of it south of Harriman, but Leanne, you would be best in your safe spot, too, to wait for this to pass. This storm, again, is moving to the east at 15 miles per hour. And that would put, as we change gears here, let me go back to the radar, see if we can get a better sense of this storm. See here, and I'm not here to assume that this absolutely 100% is a tornado. I'm not even here going to assume that it's absolutely 75-mile-an-hour gusts, because that could be what the radar is seeing aloft. But even if it's half of that, it's 45, or maybe it's maybe 40, closer to 35, 40, 45, 55 with this torrential rain. It's going to be highly disruptive. And the key here is make sure that you and your family are safe until it passes. We have some downpours around Windrock and Oliver Springs. We've got heavy rain in Harriman now, as Leanne was talking about, and also heard some larger hail now approaching the Fountain City area. That's now leaving Fountain City, now moving toward Mascot. Now it looks like we have a brand new tornado warning. All this time, we've been focused, and as we should, we had a tornado warning in the Roane County area. We have a brand new one now that affects Jefferson County. So let's focus there. We'll do a dual side. We'll just keep this nice and broad. But this does include Morristown. Morristown, you are now technically under a tornado warning. This came down at 4:48, about 2.5, 3 minutes ago. So we now have one till 5:30 for the Jefferson County area. And this is believed to be moving east at 25. So this storm is believed to be moving at 25 miles per hour. Tornado is the weather hazard with the possibility of $half size hail. So hail the size of a $half, along with the tornado. They think it'll be in Newmarket around 5:05. You say, well, I'm in Newmarket. You got some time. It's 4:52. Should be over Newmarket. The Weather Service believes at 5:05. Should be in Jefferson City about 5:10. You got a few more minutes, Jefferson City. Time to get your... I think it was, who was it? It was Marilyn Bell out in White Pine. Says, have a plan. I couldn't agree more. And if you're in White Pine, well, certainly if you're in Morristown or you're in the path of this storm, this would include Buffalo Springs, Panther Creek State Park, and Blaine, and Alpha. It's time to get into your safe space. Preferable would be a basement. I know that not everybody has a basement. Not everybody has that convenience. If you have a basement, that would be the best place to go. If you don't have a basement, you want to get off the upstairs floor, go to the lower level of the home or apartment building, and find a room that has no windows. An interior room would be best. But we have a tornado warning in effect for Jefferson County. Now, we mentioned this affecting Kingston, right? Looks like the worst of this right now. The heavy rains around Harriman, Lakeshore, Emery Gap, and going to be working its way toward Lawnville, excuse me, as this continues to work its way to the east. And 5:30 may seem like a long way off when you've got a possible tornado on the ground, but the way they worded this for Roane County was severe thunderstorm capable. But the one that's over here, so we jump over here toward Buffalo Springs, this is one that's going to affect Talbot. Does not include White Pine. I stand corrected. This is a box that includes Witt, but not White Pine. It includes Rowe, but not White Pine, and it includes Morristown, but not Edna. Those are the areas. This is the area that the Weather Service believes is and should be under the tornado warning. But this, again, is moving. They believe this storm here was located near Plainview or 9 miles southeast of Maynardville. So 9 miles southeast of Maynardville would clearly, by far and away, would be in here, right? So we've got a storm that's over here, and if we were tracking it, as we will here, it's moving east at 25 miles per hour. So this would put the timing of this a little tricky, but we'll put this 25 miles per hour, and that would take you right about here. So this includes a whole new set of towns, right? We include Buffalo Springs right now, Mill Spring, 502. Got some new towns populating, including Oakland, 505, Patterson Hills, 513, Cedar Hills, 515, and Lake Forest Estates, 515. But clearly it's in the direction of Morristown, and Morristown should pay attention to this storm, as there could potentially be a tornado. That's the concern. They did point out it was a severe thunderstorm, another one, that's capable of producing a tornado. So we won't know for sure until survey damage is done, perhaps tomorrow. If they're going to do anything on the holiday, they would do it tomorrow, where there would potentially be tornado damage. But clearly, this is something that if you have the ability to get into an interior room, the best hope is that you would do so. Looking at some of the winds here, take a look here, we got 34. Doesn't look as bright as it did in Roane County. Remember, we saw Roane County was around 75. So I'm not seeing that same type of situation there from the velocity. We switch over to the storm relative. I see the toward and I see the away, right? I see the toward here in green moving toward the radar site, and I do see the away. So there's potentially the fear that if it's not formed yet, it could form here between now and 5:30. So we're not going to mince words and just say Tornado warning 5:30 is when it's set to expire. We can look at the shear. Clearly, there's a little bit of concern here when you see some brown or reddish areas here, right, just the northwest of Mill Spring. A little bit tighter, it's maybe easier to see. Just southwest of Tampico and northeast of Perrin Hollow, where there might be a little bit more of the way of shear. That's related to our tornado detector. The strong rotation tracker shows what historically has come in. So there's the concern that this thing could billow. And as far as what our friends at Barron might be seeing, is we're going to go ahead and see if there's a track here. Yep, let me see. I can stop the clock here. They are putting out a BTI of 2.7. So they don't see it as pronounced as the 4.1 I think we saw earlier from this particular warning. But still, all the same, what might be like a small wave at the beach might only grow bigger over time. This could be something we'll be watching as it approaches Morristown. So that's the tornado warning in Hamlin County. Looking at the other one back here in Roane County, it's now hitting hard the areas around Harriman. It looks like the worst of the rain is now passing north of Kingston. If I'm not mistaken, the worst of the rain, well, some of it did come through Kingston. It certainly moved past north of Cedar Grove. Cedar Grove has not had the worst of the rain. It's moved up toward Harriman, now southeast of Oakdale, and headed in the direction of Blair, already getting some very heavy rain around Oliver Springs and Windrock, but that is just a strong storm, maybe not necessarily of the severe nature. Other comments? Gardner Fritz sending in some, sorry, you're very kind, sir. Says, thanks for keeping us informed. David, especially when it matters the most, you're welcome. Judy Kerr says she just got a warning in Rutledge. I would imagine so. That was 5 minutes ago. And we're also looking at this, come back on camera, as I just want to include the fact that we've got two distinct areas. Why would you be on a Sunday? Because we have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings. 5:15, one was expected to expire at 5. I think that'll have to be revisited. We've got the tornado warning till 5:30 and a tornado warning till 5:30. So those two hot spots, the one near Harriman and the one north of Jefferson City, really Buffalo Springs, all working its way to the east. We have obviously some concerns, and maybe not the best time to be in around the neighborhood pool, depending on where you are. Again, a lot of it's predicated on the timing, right? It may not have characterized the whole day, but here we are at 4:58, right? The end of what would have been a business day. It's not a business day, it's Sunday, but 5 o'clock, right? Most of the day, for some of you, has been completely dry, or maybe just had a half-hour downpour, and life moves on. But we obviously have another pattern that will carry us into the night tonight, into the overnight period, and at times during Monday. So if your expectation is that things are all going to get hunky-dory, they will on Tuesday. But you're going to say, well, that's when the holiday is over. I know, I'm just the messenger. Please understand, I'm just the messenger. But this is the playing field right now. And if you've got some thoughts, let me know. Alice says, thank you. You're more than welcome, Alice. Glad to have you here. If you're on YouTube, I'd love to hear from you. I got changing times, and they're having a conversation. One to post says, will the storms be all night? They'll be intermittent. I'll call it occasional, because it's not raining everywhere right now. We got a little storm now east of Sevierville that's headed in this direction, and some towns here. I'll put it on the screen so you can see it. There's a little storm now in Sevier County that's headed towards Sandy Ridge at 5:18. This is not severe. This would be a strong storm. It's moving northeast at 26, and it's moving in the direction of Sugar Forks at 5:26. So we can look at some of these vectors as illustrated from our friends at Barron, but we have the one in Mascot, right? The one up here is going to be moving toward Mascot here at 5:04. It's already there. And these vectors, again, give us a better sense of towns and communities that are either being affected now or soon will be. This one, the one that's towards, say, New Corinth and Avondale, moving 37 to the east-northeast at 37 miles an hour. BTI is pretty low, 2.7. Of course, there'd be a greater concern if it were a 6 or a 7 or an 8, but at this point, this may just be damaging wind. Either way, if you lose power, does it really matter what it was? He says, I just know it was a storm. Well, that's safe to say. Wilderness Shores, 5:14, Rocktown, 5:15, and West Lake Estates at 5:15. Some of the storm tracks here that we're looking at on this screen. So I have the ability to come back on camera just looking at some of these storms here as we zoom in a little bit tighter. Some of these things, again, are going to be predicated on how you had planned your rest of your afternoon or evening. If this is the time where you would normally be out on the deck throwing some hot dogs and burgers on the grill. There's no harm in doing that. Just be flexible that if the storm is headed your way, and I can see we've got a downpour now moving into Kodak that's not severe but maybe strong around Boyd's Creek, Mascot, some of these towns again are showing in this direction. This would put this in the direction of Cherokee 513, Patterson Hills 515. Again, this is now continuing to move to the east. Take some of the tracks off here, but if you're just joining us, it is now 5:01. A good time to take stock of what's going on. We're going to go back to the home view. I'd like to show you, as we now can introduce the newest tornado warning, La Follette. We've got a new tornado warning to pass along to you. That's Campbell County. Looks like it's also Union County, far northwest of it, until 5:45. And we've got one in Scott County, far southeastern Scott County, till 5:45. I'm going to look at my phone and take a look at this track, but clearly the map has lit up in many, many ways here in the last 30 minutes to an hour here in East Tennessee. It was Southeast Kentucky's turn earlier in the afternoon, but now round two is on your screen right now. It is now 5:02. I'm going to give you an update from our friends at the National Weather Service. Our partners and friends, a tornado warning now has been issued for Campbell County, East Central Scott, Northwestern Union until 5:45. And like the others, just not to be outdone, it is, in fact, a severe thunderstorm that's capable of producing a tornado. So what you're saying is you don't know it's a tornado. No, I don't. I'm not clairvoyant. I don't know all things, but I can tell you this is strong enough to rip off some shingles with 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, possible tornado. It's moving east of 45, and it's about 10 miles west of La Follette. So we want to do a track here, and I'll do my best now to highlight the fact that we have the worst of this storm as we started with Roan. A lot of the precipitation has left the box, right? It's now over toward Blair and looks like Cries. Not like fries, but Cries. So there's some areas that are getting hit hard with the reflectivity now into Blair and Point South, but it's leaving the area here that's lasts till 5:30. But let's get to the most recent one that's here now around La Follette. They place this in La Follette, Jacksboro at 5:05. So you don't have a whole lot of time. If you're in Campbell County, and I'm thinking Don Rumsey, if you're watching, Caryville, Block, Dean, La Follette, Duff, Jacksboro, these areas may very well be producing tornadic winds. You might be dealing with a tornado, maybe something straight line. But either way, when you look at the velocity here, the winds alone are getting very, very strong. And I'm looking at 50, I'm looking at 57, 47. Some areas might be a little bit stronger there, about 57 miles an hour. Very strong enough to not only take away patio furniture, but certainly could move some trash cans with ease. And that's just where things are from that. Now, they did expire. Remember, we did say that the activity in Roane County probably didn't need to last till 5:30. That would have to last another 25 minutes. That did expire. So let me be very clear. We have some strong winds now east of Kingston, just south of Cries and Century Acres. I think we got winds here. What is this? Pretty strong, right? 64. Yeah, we got some strong winds around Century Acres, but it's not a severe thunderstorm. It's not a tornado warning anymore in Roane County. That was allowed to expire. So that's good news there. So really the only ones we have now, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that includes Oak Ridge. It's now back into Hardin Valley till 5:45. We have, and also Karnes. Looks like Karnes is right on the edge of that box. That's a new box. Meanwhile, the one that was issued from then back toward Morristown, Jeff City. Do a quick check of the velocity here. Yeah, it wasn't too impressive here with the velocity as far as the coloring, but there's some bright green ones here. They would suggest 50, 47, 48 potentially. So you got some strong winds here, storm relative toward and away. When you're looking at the green, it's moving toward the radar. You got the red that's moving away. So you kind of can imply the low pressure center here. As my mouse is a little sticky here. And then might see a little bit of rotation in this particular direction. So we'll keep an eye on this one. There's still a warning. I want you to have your plan in place. As far as the shear, there's a little bit. Yeah, there's more than just a little bit. It's pretty strong north of Oakland. So again, if we were to pinpoint a spot where there's a lot of shear, our rotation detector would detect it right here at this moment. South of Hammer Store, northwest of Lake Park, and north of Oakland for very strong possible rotation. And if we do this little 15-minute check here, we'll go back 15 minutes ago, it's gotten stronger, right? Back when it was south of Leah Springs and Blaine, it wasn't as pronounced, but now it's getting stronger. So just like a wave at the beach, a wave at the ocean, waves tend to get, it might be a small wave, like a kiddie wave, and then all of a sudden it gets bigger and it crests and it gets bigger. So the shear is getting stronger, and the rotation detector is detecting that right there around, say, Oakland and Lake Park, around, I guess, Wana Village, if I said Wani Village. But anyway, it's well south of Big Q Estates. Morristown is over here on the right, right? We've got Morristown over here, but this is where most of the shear is, and it's also turning yellow here, so that would be extreme. So these are the spots. If you're not in your safe space, please be there now. If you're not in a safe space and you're in Morgan County, excuse me, you're in Hamlin County, under a tornado warning until 5:30, we've highlighted what could be the hot spots at the moment. But again, just like in the last 15 minutes, that can strengthen, that can change. And I just want you to be prepared of it. Let's go back to this other one over here, the newest tornado warning. We can look at several things. First, I'm going to look at the velocity and see if we have it at our disposal. The reflectivity, excuse me, you got two areas that are heavy rain now, around Caryville, Jacksboro, around Alder. Looks like a little bit of a break west of Duff, west of McLeod Mountain. They'll follow it getting some rain, but the heavier, stronger winds, if there are winds at this point that are very, very strong, they're showing up in bright green. That would be 59, estimated 56, some areas 51, 57. There's some strong winds in here, no doubt, that would, at the minimum, probably initiate a severe thunderstorm warning. But the concern is that this could possibly be a severe thunderstorm that's capable of producing a tornado. If we look at the storm relative and see where things are toward and away, may not be as clear cut. See a lot of green here. I don't see a couple like I would necessarily on the other, but that could change in the next few minutes. How about the shear? Don't see a whole lot of shear here either. Right? A little bit of green, if you look closely, around Jacksboro, and a little bit maybe northeast of Fincastle, where Kenneth and Catherine Humphreys are. They're in Fincastle. So you've got a little bit of shear here for maybe detection, but not like it was back into and around Hamlin County. A little detector here. It's maybe picking up a little bit over the last 15 minutes. Some of those Burgundy areas would be strong, tracking potentially some stronger storms. So this, again, might be still in its early stage. But where things are really interesting to me is the fact that we have a lot of this around Wani Village and Low Acres, headed maybe in the direction of Casablanca and Quail Hollow. This is just in the last 15 minutes. So some of the shear associated with this, what we call a rotation detector, can give us a good hot spot of where things might be going downhill. Again, all this is not to overanalyze it, just to simply say if you are in the path of this storm, please, please, please get into your safe space. That includes Hamlin County, Morristown, Boggs, and Jefferson City. You are technically under a warning until 5:30. If I go back to the home view, just to give you context, we have Knox County no longer, it should be Knoxville proper, and Fountain City are now out of the warned areas, but they're under a severe thunderstorm watch till 9 o'clock. Got one cell that's southwest of Oak Ridge. Got Hardin Valley under a warning now until the severe thunderstorm that goes till 5:45. The one that's east of Mascot till 5:15. That'll be the first box to expire. But we have a new one that's including Mohawk, Bainbury, Rogersville till 5:45, and Dandridge. Dandridge is now under a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:45. And Newport, don't want to leave out Wanda Poe, brand new severe thunderstorm warning till 6 p.m. for Newport and Cosby. So these hot spots are going to produce some heavy rain, maybe even some damaging wind, 60-mile-an-hour gusts, pretty much standard with those severe thunderstorm warnings, and they're in effect until 6 for Newport, Cosby, and I presume Parrottsville as well. So keep a mindful eye on that. As we take the radar off, I want to check back in with any comments. Clearly, if you're under a tornado warning, hopefully you know that by now. If you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, I hope you know that by now. I'm looking at Wanda Poe. She says it's raining here now. Wanda's got the right idea. We just focused on Newport. So glad you're on, keeping us safe. You're more than welcome, Wanda. Thank you for being here on YouTube. Yes, Wani is in Granger County. Thank you, Judy. Appreciate that. Yeah, it was multiple counties. Clearly, I'm looking at this big box, and sometimes my county lines are off as far as
being able to detect it. But if we go back to full screen, you're absolutely right. That warning might have a new update. I'd like to get the latest from the Weather Service and pass that on to you in text form here. This would include Jefferson, Granger, and Hamlin, but more specifically, it's northern Jefferson, it's central Granger, and it's western Hamlin until 5:30. So that was issued at 4:48, and it's now 5:11. So we're looking at a storm, two severe thunderstorms, if not more, in the flashing red boxes that are capable of producing a tornado. So is it for sure a tornado? No. Would you not hunker down if it was? What if it's just straight line winds? Well, I'll think about it. No. It's probably best just to get into your safe space if you're in these flashing red areas. So in here, we're talking about places like Newmarket, Jefferson City, Morristown. They're expecting this to be around Morristown by 5:20, probably a little bit sooner, and Jefferson City about 5:10. It's 5:11 now, so it's pretty much lined up as far as an approximate time. Clearly, this is where most of the shear seems to be. And I'm going to tilt this back so we can see this a little bit easier here. But I'm looking at Jefferson City, Newmarket's at the bottom here. Here's Newmarket. And we've got Nance's Grove here, Mill Spring, Oakland, and there's Talbot. And of course we have the cone of silence. That's because the radar is located there. It's just information. It's probably raining in this area as well, but we just don't see it, don't have that visual. But we do have Edgewood, Morristown, and Boggs. And now look at that. The pulling of the warning. So we have now just seen in real time, the National Weather Service has now removed the flash flood. My mindset was there. Tornado warning. The tornado warning was supposed to go to 5:30, just expired. And if you need more evidence of it, there's the loop. And they pulled the plug right around 5:11, 5:12. So if you're in Morristown or you're in Lake Park, I don't want to say all is clear, but you can at ease a little bit easier. Take heart that the only thing you're under now is a severe thunderstorm warning. So there is no more tornado warning for Morristown. There's no more tornado warning for Jefferson City. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning, but you're not under a tornado warning because the parameters did not warrant it to continue. So to recap, we've also seen an expiration of the tornado warning in around La Follette. This has all happened in real time here in the last minute and a half, right? If I'm not mistaken, I can slowly rewind the radar to when they were both there, right? 1, 2. They pulled the Jefferson City Morristown first, 5:12, and I'm just taking the slider bar, and I could see this one was still in effect. It was supposed to go to 5:45. They pulled the plug on this one more than a half hour early, right? And maybe they issue a new one, maybe a new box, maybe they're calling an audible, but you could see it disappeared. So the two tornado warnings, if it gives you some comfort in these areas, take heart that they have now both been allowed to expire early. And I can see that the one that was Jefferson City, that was supposed to last till 5:30. So one of them expired 20 minutes early. The one in La Follette expired about a half hour, more than a half hour early, because at 5:12 they were both pretty much gone. And now it's, 5:14? So this is the new map. Will not necessarily feel the need to stay on the whole time here, but I just want you to know, take ease. This is round 2. Maybe we're getting toward the end of round 2. But you say, wait a minute, David, there's these yellow things called the county, like Blount County is under a severe thunderstorm watch. And Crossville, Cumberland County is under a tornado watch till 6 o'clock Central. Maryville, severe thunderstorm watch till 9. That means you ought to have a plan in case you're under the crosshairs for round 3. Because round 3 will eventually arrive. And if it's not now, maybe late tonight, maybe 2 in the morning, because I do think there's another round of that possibility. I'd like to give a shout out to all my premium members for their patience because of these extended Facebook Lives. Normally I would be having my 7-day forecast would have been out long before now. I did get you tomorrow's forecast. So I'll have that coming up in mere moments. But when I sign off, believe me, I haven't put my head on a pillow, so to speak. I'm still focused on the weather. I still have things to do. I'm not eating hot dogs and hamburgers today. I am working very hard at what's going on in the map and knowing that there's still more to come. And if you need more evidence that there's more to come, take a look at the national radar, which we can do pretty easily here. Getting some movement here. Let's move the national radar over here. There's a lot more energy from some of the storms that will potentially come in later tonight. Look at stuff that's back toward Missouri. There's the potential for more storms as we go through
forward in time. So we're not completely out of the woods. There could be a lot of dry time this evening. I'm thinking maybe as we head toward evening time, but just know that as long as there's dark clouds overhead, there's probably going to be some thunder, and boy, do we have that. We got a lightning show all around us. You don't have to look far, but the total strikes here is over 4,300 in the last 20 minutes or so. So again, a lot of the lightning strikes you see associated with these storms, that's enough to get you inside and away from the pool or the lake for good reason, to keep you safe. And you can see that we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Anderson till 5:45. That's another half hour. Got one that's around Morristown until 5:45. That was, at one time, a tornado warning, but now it's down to a severe thunderstorm warning. And the newer one that was issued down toward Newport, Cosby, that runs until 6 p.m. So clearly there's a very active map. I would encourage you to download my free Captain Accurate weather app so you can zoom into your town. But what might be helpful, I think would be helpful, to take a look at the Future Radar. The one feature that you can get on the radar, on the app, is the Future Radar 2 hours. So let's switch gears. Let's go back. This is Future Radar. Notice my banner just changed. So let's go forward in time. Watch what happens. A lot of this starts to get out of here within the next 120 minutes. I mean, so much so by the time you get to 7 o'clock tonight, 7:15 or so, there might be a nasty cell around Crossville. That could be severe. Maybe that's a tornado warning because they're under a tornado watch, right, until 6 o'clock Central. So we'll keep an eye on, what am I looking at? Let me just put this, we'll stop this once it gets there. We'll hit stop here, all right, and pull this to the side, right over here. So if I pull out my telestrator and circle this area, this might be something to watch, but the time is closer to 2 hours from now. That's 7:17 Eastern Time, not to be confused with 6 o'clock or 6:17 Central Time. So, but a lot of these areas are going to be dry for a good part of the evening as we say goodbye to this area here. This area will be departing, right? It'll be going away, and we will be seeing some dry time maybe for the evening. But I think 2 in the morning will be another hot spot time to watch as some of that energy comes down from the north and west. That's my expectation. More storms will be coming in, a nice little squall line from the north and west in the pre-dawn hours. So if you're a light sleeper, maybe go to bed when you can. So know that you might be getting up with me, keeping it posted throughout the night with any nasty storms that are coming about. So that's where we are with round 2. Maybe time to look at a new severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like we've got brand new until 6. This one's brand new. Da-da-da. We're going to zoom into Anderson County. Got one here that's kind of staring me in the face now. It just popped up. Brand new one. Not a tornado warning, but it is a severe thunderstorm warning that includes Clinton, Anderson County. So if you're in Clinton, you're in Anderson County. If you're in, well, it's east central Morgan. It's central Anderson. It includes north central Knox. And it does include south central Campbell and northeastern Roane County till 6 o'clock. It was located near Oliver Springs. Many of you know where Oliver Springs is, but that runs till 6 o'clock. The hazard would be 60-mile-an-hour gusts, potentially, around Oliver Springs. Look at that. There's a little purple there, too. This really nasty storm right in here. And this is moving to the east at 35 miles per hour. So we can easily do a quick check of that. We'll do a little check in here and move this about 35 miles per hour. That would take you there. That would include Maynardville down the road. Potentially take you toward Paulette in the direction of Mill Creek, in the direction of Norris, and may very well be in Laurel Grove at 527. So as nasty as that storm is in Oliver Springs now, it could easily be in Minersville at 534, and maybe over towards, say, Bowling Springs 534, Clinton at 535. So Clinton, you're getting some heavy rain now, but what we're tracking here is the storm that's around Oliver Springs, right? This little cell here could be in Clinton by about 535. 15 more minutes, you'll get another round of it periodically. Could produce some hail. We could easily see that as well. Some of the threats are showing up here, maybe the size of a half inch hail. Some stronger, larger hail, maybe north of Jefferson City, west of Morristown. 1 inch hail there. And we've seen some even toward Cosby, what looks like in Cocke County. Potentially some very heavy rain associated with it, as well as the hail potential. But the rainfall clearly has shown signs of getting a little streaky. I'm seeing some yellow areas that would suggest about 1 inch, maybe more. No, 2 inches. 2 inches in Scott County, Areas north of Jamestown closing in on an inch and 3/4 Doppler estimated. Parts of Cumberland County have had about an inch of rain. Downtown Knoxville, maybe about 0.78 roughly, and about a half inch or more in parts of Union County, Claiborne County, about a half inch. So again, depends on where you are, but these are the spots where they've had some locally heavy rain. That's also accompanying the rain and the wind and the hail. It's all, you get all the weather hazards today, even with that small concern that a tornado may have occurred or has occurred in some of those towns that we've already highlighted. Hearing some claps of thunder. Dawn Rumsey says your premium members love and respect you because you keep us all updated so weather doesn't surprise us. Thank you. All caps. Dawn, you're so sweet. Thank you, and I thank you and Carrie and Kathy and Judy. Actually, all of these ladies are premium members. I'll do my best to get you the 7-day, the rest of the 7-day. But really what's most important is that you have the Memorial Day holiday, which is going to be more like this. No surprises here. No secrets being kept. It's going to come in stages. Just like today wasn't a complete washout. Count how many hours you were rain-free. You'd say, if I added up, out of the 24 hours, X number of hours were rain-free. Now it's raining like cats and dogs in Clinton, in maybe Hardin Valley, in maybe northern Union County, Jefferson City, and they're all associated with severe thunderstorm warnings that will go till 5:45. So 5:45 here, 6 o'clock Clinton, Oak Ridge about 5:45, Cosby, Newport till 6. What else do you need to know? This is all coming by way of these fronts. We've got a warm front now, but we're going to be seeing the cold front effects going into late tonight around 2 in the morning. That's my biggest concern. Into the sleeping hours, right? Once you're in the head on the pillow, maybe you go to bed at 10 or 11 or midnight. The activity that I anticipate we'll see, new areas might be hit harder. Maybe it's Philadelphia and Loudoun late tonight. Maybe it's Sevierville and Townsend late tonight. All of it has been shifting from north to south. So we could say that this is still round 2, but it's still very active all the same. And I would be remiss if I don't mention, because I haven't mentioned them during this particular live stream, but I want to say a special thanks to my sponsor, Marco's Pizza, the ultimate Doppler radar presented by Marco's Pizza. They are, in fact, a great community sponsor because they are a corporate sponsor of No Kid Hungry. They give back a lot back to the community. So if you're looking for some comfort food and you're not cooking hot dogs and hamburgers, check them out, marcos.com. They've got locations conveniently, locally in Hardin Valley, Farragut, Maryville, Fountain City Halls, Oak Ridge, Middlebrook Pike, and Ebenezer Road. Maybe you're hungry for a pepperoni magnifico. Oh, they're really good. And also the Pozzoli, which is great for lunch. If not this week, any time of the day or year, you could check out a new Pozzoli at a Marco's near you. So check them out. They would appreciate it. And tell them Captain Accurate sent you. Just to recap, we talked about this earlier. Now that we have the watches, we got the warnings. Sometimes it's confusing. But just so you know, have a plan. That's the key. Having a plan, knowing the difference between a watch and a warning. Many of us, if not all of us, are under a severe thunderstorm watch. But only a few of us currently are under the warning, which means take cover. And one might last several hours, like we have with the watch, till 9. But some may be warned for another 20 minutes to an hour. Sometimes that's only portions of counties. So one's hours versus minutes, one's states versus counties. So just know that if you are under a warned area, certainly the watches are prevalent everywhere, that could last until at least 9 o'clock. But I think they could be extended as we could go in the wee hours of the night with more storminess in the offering. Anyway, very thankful for you. I'm going to sign off now because I got to get back on track with my forecast so that I can eventually get that passed on to you. But I appreciate your patience. Make sure you download the Captain Accurate Weather App. If anything seriously changes in this, if something newly is formed of the tornadic variety, if a new tornado warning is issued, I'll be sure to update you as best I can. So thank you so much for being here. My name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.